Hey guys, what's up? This video is going to be a part of the 44 Golang project playlist series on my YouTube channel. So in case you don't know about this, go to my YouTube channel playlists, and depending on when you're seeing this video, there will be either 44 projects or 50 or 55 projects, but the count of that playlist series keeps changing. So it could be like 40, so right now it'll be 44 Golang project playlist series. So make sure you check it out. And this project is going to be slightly simple, so I'll push it up a little bit in that series. It won't be the last video of the series, so I've tried to arrange those videos in terms of their difficulty level. All right, so today we're going to be using Echo. So Echo is a framework, is a Golang framework that is gaining a lot of popularity these days, and this video is going to show you how to build an API with Echo. Now, this is complete experimentation in the sense, full disclosure, I don't know anybody from Echo, so it's not like this video is sponsored by Echo or something like that. And also, I've never used Echo in production. Okay, I've used, if you've been following my channel, you know that I use Fiber in production. I use, Gen and Gonic in production for sure. For monoliths and for microservices, I have my own microservice framework, and I sometimes use GoKit also in microservices. So I've never used Echo in production. Okay, so this is like an experimental project. So in case you've used this in production, let me know if you think it's stable enough or if you're finding any issues. Personally, I don't know anybody who's used Echo in production, and I have a huge circle of Golang developers. So I don't know anybody who's used Echo in production, so it's like an experimentation video. So this is in no manner a production project that we are building. Okay, it's experimentation. So in case you also want to you're curious about it, you want to build something new, you want to try something different, let's do it. And in case you've used Echo in production, please let me know in the comments so that I can know if it's stable or not. Anyhow, so this is a project. I've put this already on GitHub. So earlier I used to build the projects with you guys. So I used to come online and then I used to start figuring out stuff here, while building it. But many people, when they view these projects, they don't enjoy it. Especially the younger developers, they think that everything should be perfect. Everything should be handed out to them on a silver platter. So, and this is what I'm doing. I've put this project. I've already pre-built this project already there on GitHub. You can always compare your code, right? And yeah, so now we'll get started. I think I've shown you. Yeah, so I've shown you the GitHub repo for Echo. In case you want to check out their documentation, you can check them out. We won't be using any very complicated functionality, so it won't be a problem. Let me run the program and actually show you. Okay, so here I'm going to say go run main.go. So you can see Echo has a nice little banner that comes up in the terminal, and it's running on port 1323, which is a very weird port. I don't know why they run it on 1323, but you can obviously change it, but I don't want to change it to this the standard port. And here I can also just a second, sorry, go test. Okay, I've also written a small test file which is passing right now. So it's a very small test file. Now testing is something that's it's unlimited in the sense you can keep writing a lot of tests, and you can till the point you get to 99% code coverage and all that stuff. But this is just to show you what testing could look like in a project like this. So it's a very small, just 2 test functions. That's about it, right? This is why I've not shown you testing also on my channel yet, because it's endless, right? You can just keep going about it. There's no end. You can till the time you have 99% of tests code coverage. So that's why I don't show that, because it's laborious. It's kind of boring, and it's something I usually ship off to an intern or a junior developer. I never touch tests, right? Full disclosure. Anyhow, so this is when I'm building when I'm building a product, you'll never see me write any tests. That's how it is. Anyhow, now on my Chrome browser, I will show you that there is a health check. So I'm completely honest, right? I'm not somebody who tries to hide information from you guys. So I'm totally honest. This is how I operate, man. All right. I have no hidden agendas. I don't earn any money from my YouTube. Maybe $40-50 or something, which I don't even care about that. So I can be completely brutally honest, because I don't do this for money. I do it just because I want to teach, and I really want to save your time when you build stuff. And I just like building stuff, This is what I love doing. Anyhow, so here you have one more thing, which is posts on API. So here, what we're doing now is I'm not getting these posts from a database, right? I've created a JSON file. I'm just fetching all of the data from the JSON file. That's it. Just to show you how Echo works and not get into the nitty-gritties of connecting it to a database and all of that. Because I've already covered most of the databases with Golang. So in case you're looking for a specific database like DynamoDB or Redis or Postgres or Golang, I already have content on all of that on my YouTube channel, right? So today is just about working with Echo, so we'll just focus on Echo. Now, if I want to get a particular post, I just have to say /1, and it won't be posts, it will be just post singular /1, and you get what that one post. Now, I've kept a lot of MIPSum, like a lot of rough data here, dummy data, but you can, if you want, you can create your own API and change this data if you want, and you can connect your own database. That kind of stuff, right? Now, Echo, from what I've used till now, it is what they say it is. It is high performance in the sense I felt it's quite fast, right? It's high performance, it's minimalist, right? And I'm feeling those things in the sense when I interact with it, when I build, when I use their functions, it feels very minimalist. It's not very complex. It's not like a huge framework like Gin and Gonic. It's not like that. And it's high performance. It's like almost, it feels as fast as Fiber. I don't know. I've not done the analytics and all of that, but I'm just telling you from my experience what I'm feeling right now. Okay, but stability wise, I don't know. Is it stable? Is it? So it has 24.3K stars. Seems like it's stable. 238 contributors, whatever. All right. Now we will build our project. So I will build it with you from scratch, and I think shut this down, shut this off. And here I will cd out of it, and I will clear, and I will create a new directory. So I'll say mkdir go echo for YouTube. And I'll cd into it, go echo for YouTube. Okay, and here I'll say go mod init github.com/akhil/ go echo writing. Okay, so you've created your go.mod file, and then you also, this won't be like a single file project. There will be like folders and all of that stuff. So, but first we just want to open this up in our code editor and just create your main.go file here. Right, and we'll create multiple folders and files inside of that now. Sorry, I had to wear a sweater. It was getting cold. Okay, so we have main.go, and then here we'll have a folder called CMD. Then inside CMD, we'll have another folder called API. In that API folder, we'll have two folders, handlers and service. So handlers, and at the API level, we'll have service. Inside handlers, we have health handler.go and posts handler.go also. So we will have posts handler.go, and then we have posts handler test.go, posts handler test.go. Okay, inside service you just have one file called util.go. So I'll wait for you to get all of this. I hope you can see it on the screen properly. Yeah, you can see it on the screen properly, and I hope you get these the project structure right. CMD, API, and then handlers, service, and then handlers have 3, service has 1. Main.go, and then the data will stay in a file called data.json. Now this is at the root level, at the level of main.go. Now the main.go, the whole purpose of main.go here will be to host your routes, like have the list of your routes. So we'll start with the standard stuff, package main, and then we'll import a couple of things. Obviously we need echo, here, right? And then you'll have your main function. So func main, e will be echo dot new. Now I need github.com/labstack/echo, and a new instance of echo is there with my e variable called e. Now I can use e to basically access everything from echo. So for example, I need to create a get route. The first route I'll create will be health check, and I'm going to use my handlers. So the handlers folder that I just created will have these will have all the handler files. Now I can access them using handlers because I'll import them here, and handlers, all of these will belong to the handlers package. Now with Golang, when you have multiple files in a folder, you have to give them the same module name. So all of these files will belong to the same module. So it doesn't matter which of these exact files the exact function resides in. You can all access all of them with the handlers package. Okay, so you have health check handler and e.get/posts handlers dot post index handler, e.get/post/id, comma, handlers dot post single handler. Okay, so it's very clear that we want a API for /posts that will hit this method, and we'll get all of the list of all the posts, and this one will get a specific post of the ID that we'll pass. So post single handler. Okay. Now at the end we'll just have e.logger.fatal and e.start. So in the documentation you'll see 1323, so I'm just going to use 1323 for echo, but you could be using any other port here. And I need access to my handlers. Okay, so here I could get them, but the thing is, Golang, when I save the file, Golang will remove that link anyways, because I first have to define, like, export those handlers and all of that, like define the package. Here it should be a dot. Okay. So we'll come and fix all of this. So don't worry about the errors yet. Okay. Now let's go to our util service, util.go, and I'll do a couple of things here. So this belongs to package service, things that will help us, right? Things that will help us. So firstly, I want to create the struct of my data. Now, if I were using a database here, the structure would look very, very different, right? So you've built many projects with me before. You already know that I'll have some sort of a repository folder or models folder and a separate folder for database related function, like database related connection functions and all of that. So it looks very simple now because it's just there's no database as such. It's just a data.json file. So I'm just going to have a struct for my data where I'm going to have user ID will be an integer, and ID integer, title string, body string. This is my struct. Now I can create a collection like payload, for example, which is again another struct, but here it'll return data, which is basically a collection of data. Okay, slice, right? A collection of data. So that's the beauty that you get with Golang and Rust, that you can create a collection of these structs basically. Okay. So let me not do anything here, because then it things might get a little confusing. I want to do two more functions here, but they'll make more sense when we have our handlers set up. Okay. Let's do the first things first. Handlers, health handlers, belongs to package handlers. We'll import some things here. I obviously need echo here. So first I'll create the health check handler. You need to make sure that the function that you said here, health check handler, same function, same spelling with whatever is capital. Make sure you get it here as well. Accepts echo.context, may return an error, and you return c.string http.status okay, comma okay. Now when I save that, I'll get HTTP and I'll also get echo at the same time. So both of them have come. Now, even though I've imported echo in both of these places, I still get these squiggly lines because I have not tidied my go mod. So I'll have to run go mod tidy, which I can do later on. There's no rush. Till then, what I can do is I can start working on the posts handler. So we'll come to posts handler, this one, and you'll say package handlers. Sorry, everything should be small. Package handlers. We'll need to import a few things, echo being one of them. So the first function that we want to work with is post index handler, okay, which is here, post index handler. And then we'll have just one more function, post single handler. That's it. These are the only two functions we'll have. That's why this is like a beginner friendly tutorial. So when I say beginner, I mean somebody who's done a couple of projects and who's done the Golang tour. So for them, this is perfect. Okay. C echo.context error, and in service, right? In a service package, you will have the ability to get data from JSON. Okay, so right now we're just calling that function. So we'll say get all. So this is the function that I want to create in service, and one more function. So I said, I don't want to create this right now so that things will get confusing. But now that you know that we'll be calling this function, it will be easier for us to create that in the service file. Data, error, service package, I mean. So if I try to save here, does it get service package? Yeah, so it doesn't recognize that I'm talking about this service package, actually, which is okay, not a problem. We'll fix that later on. So here we'll get data or error. Error needs to be handled. With Golang, the best thing is you're always thinking about the error at every single line. That makes it super stable for production level applications. Unable to process data. Okay. So I need HTTP package as well. So I got that also. And after you handle the error, create a variable called res, and we'll use the make keyword to create a map string any, and we'll say res status is equal to okay, res data is equal to data, okay, and return res being the map with string and a value, like key value pairs, and return you'll say c.json http.status okay, res. So that's it. That's all this function does, right? Now we need to obviously finish things off in the util.go file for get.all, but that's okay. At least at least what you want to do here is done. Now post single handler. So that's the other function we want to take care of. Post single handler, c echo.context error c.param. Right, so when you pass something in the parameters like post slash id, you can access that using echo.context. Very similar to Gingonic, very similar to fiber, right? That's a format that works. So you use context to get access to that ID parameter. Then we use string convert for the ID, and we'll get that in this variable called idx. I'll handle the error here itself. So what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste this. Okay. Now if you're new, I always recommend to not copy and paste things and to type everything on your own. And I also used to do that for all the videos. Like I used to type everything out for the earlier videos, because those were more supposed to be like more beginner friendly. And this is also beginner friendly. I'm just letting you know that I'm not typing this out because like there are many people who get really disturbed when I type everything out. They say, why don't you use autocomplete? Why can't you just copy and paste stuff? I get a lot of these weird comments on YouTube. So just letting you know, if you see me copy and paste stuff, I don't recommend it at all. Always type things out on your own. The reason is that you get used to the syntax. Now I'm used to the syntax. I've been using Golang for like 5-6 years or whatever. So I'm used to the syntax, but if you're not used to the syntax, make sure you don't copy anything ever for the first 1 year. That's what I would say. Okay. So here you have you've handled the error here, and now you want to use your service package, and this function we have to create, by the way, get by id function. We'll create this and we'll pass idx to that, and then we'll get some data back, obviously, or we'll get some error. And error again, we'll handle it. So if you see something like this, right, if the developer has written code like this, where every single line they're thinking about error and they're handling the error there itself, you can trust the code. It's going to be it's going to be very stable. If you see something like this in Golang, it's going to be stable, right? Now there are more fancy things to handle errors. There are more fancy ways, but I just prefer keeping things simple. This makes the code very readable, and you can handle the error exactly where it appears. So I don't believe in using the fancier things that exist for handling errors, right? This is like really old school, really boring way, but it gets the job done and it makes the code very stable. That's what you want. Status is equal to OK. Data is equal to data, and return c.json http.status OK, comma response. So this part is very similar to this part. Okay, not a lot of difference. Okay, now this needs to recognize that this is the service is the same. So I'll copy this and I will paste it here, and I'll say /cmd/API/service. Okay, and now it recognizes what I've been talking about. Similarly for main.go, I'll just copy this and I will paste it here. And here we actually want the handlers, so I'll say /handlers. I'll cover this up also. Okay. So you've got that now. Okay. Now going back to your service, going back to your service file. Here we now have to work with our get all and get by ID, right? We need two functions, as you know, get all and get by ID. So here what we'll do is we'll say function get all, and it's data comma error data color is equal to raw. This raw function is also something that we'll have to create. So what you want to do really is this data.json file is going to have some data, right? So I'm just going to copy and paste the data that I already have here. And we need utilities to be able to read that data from the file, right? So like IOUtil, if you know about the IOUtil package, you're able to read the file. So we'll just create this function draw, and here will be data comma error. IOUtil dot read file data.json. And here again, you'll handle the error. So you'll say if error is not equal to nil, you will say return nil comma error. Now if I save it, it should ideally get this package for me. Yes, it did. Okay, and now you'll say var payload. What this does is creates a new variable called payload of type payload, which is a structure. So you're instantiating payload with a small p with of type payload, which is capital P. And here you'll say json.unmarshal. I've covered this topic of marshalling and unmarshalling a lot, and I've covered this again in Rust. In the Rust, there's a 50 Rust project series going on my channel. In case you haven't checked it out, please check it out. So I've covered this extensively there also. So when you have structs, all the languages which have structs and which don't natively support JSON, which is almost everything except JavaScript, because JSON is JavaScript object notation. So they don't support JSON natively, so they have to represent information in their own manner, which is a struct, like their own custom data type. And JSON is something that the internet understands. So when you want to convert between the JSON structures and the struct that this language understands, you need marshalling and unmarshalling. And payload dot. There's a very quick intro to marshalling and unmarshalling. It's obviously a very big topic, but this is all you need to understand right now. And with the Golang, it's so simple that you just have to get this package called JSON. It's not even an external package; it's part of the standard library. But with Rust, you have to use some external packages, which I've shown you already, in case you've been following my Rust series. Anyhow, so here you'll have handling of error, return nil comma error. Okay, and at the end you'll return payload dot data comma nil. Brilliant. Now that you have all this, all right. So for get all, you're calling the raw function, and we already have the raw function. It's helping us to read from the file. And here we just getting all the data, right? And that will be in our data variable. So here you want to handle the error again. So actually I'm just going to copy and paste this, but if you're new, like I said, don't copy and paste stuff. Return data comma nil for the error, because everything works in case there's no error. Otherwise you'll return nil for the data and error for error. Okay, so that's your get data. Now you need one more function, as you know, which is get by ID. So you'll say func get by ID. Just remove my headphones. Takes in IDX is integer, any error. Okay, same thing, calling raw data, and again we'll just handle the error again. Same thing, copy and paste. And here we'll just check if IDX is greater than length of data. Then response is equal to make string 0. Okay, and return response comma nil. Else return data IDX comma nil. Okay, so essentially, I'm sure this, like, I don't have to explain this, but essentially what's happening is that you just want to get data from the raw function, and you want to return data of a particular ID for a particular post. But if the ID sent to you is more than the data that exists, in the sense, let's say you just have like 100 records, and somebody's saying that I want the ID of, like, I want the data of the 101st record, You don't have it. You don't have 100 first record. So you'll just send nothing, like you just send an empty string. So that's it. Now, all right. So I think we're left with the handler test, and everything else seems to be done. So we're left with handler test. But before that, I think I can go ahead and run the go mod tidy. Actually, I shouldn't have run go mod tidy now because I need one more package here to be able to run some tests. Okay, let me minimize this because so now I think you have more clarity and more visibility here. Okay, so so I need one more package actually, which is the stretcher testify suite. It helps me to test better. Anywho, let's first start writing our file. So we need to import some things, and one thing that I definitely need is github.com/stretcher /testify. Now all these third-party packages, my plugins are not able to resolve them automatically when I save the file once I've used them. So I'll just try to write them first here and then use them. But all the other packages, my plugins, the Golang plugins, are able to find them for me. Okay, so first I'll create a struct called end-to-end suite. So suite.suite. Okay, you get access to suite. There's a struct called suite, and I want to access that. So that's why I use end-to-end suite, which is my own suite. And it's a struct, and it's of type suite.suite. Okay. Then I'll have a function called test and end-to-end suite. Test end-to-end suite. Okay. And this has access to testing.t. Okay, so we'll pass t here. So it's a suite.run t comma new and end-to-end suite. So now we have two functions, right? First function where you pass your end-to-end suite struct is test post handler. Okay, so we have a post handler. We want to test that. We want to test if that function works perfectly fine. Right, like I said, testing, there's no limit to testing. So we just want to do like the basic tests. We just want to write basic tests, and that's about it. Don't want to get too crazy. At least for this project, don't want to get too crazy for tests. So essentially, what you're doing here is you're creating a client, right? So when you're okay, so basic assumption, you'll get your server running, right? Your go.main.go file, you'll run that like go run main.go, and your server will be running. And to test the server, if the server is running, you create a client. Okay, I'm explaining this if you haven't done all like the other projects that I've done on Golang. If you've done the early projects, we've learned how to create a client to scrape multiple different websites, and that too in parallel with concurrency and all of that. But the main thing was we created a client. And to test if the server works, you have to create your own client, because that's the client will be able to test if the server is working properly or not. Okay, well, the server is running, as we know, on HTTP. Localhost 1323, and the API is actually posts, right? We created this API together. This is the API I want to test once the server starts running. So how do I do that? I say r comma and c.get. Okay, so client is going to help me to run a get method on this URL. And I'm going to say everything is okay. HTTP.if there's a status okay, and the test would be fine. Okay, so this is one function, test post handler. Now on test for no result, so I'll say function end-to-end suite and test post no result. and here again you'll create the same client r comma, and you'll say c.get http localhost 1323/1323/host, and then enter a number, an ID, for example, where the data does not exist. So for example, you have data for ID till ID 100, right? So let's select a number, like a very weird number, like 5334, for example, and we know that this data doesn't exist. So what happens when the data doesn't exist? So it should say s dot equal http dot status, okay, comma r dot status code b comma, say ioutil dot read all r dot body. Okay, so once you get this data, you want to use the ioutil package to read the body that you received, and you will say .json queue. So I've created these backtick characters. This is backtick, okay, backtick, not like single inverted comma. It's backtick. It's on your number pad just before 1. I hope you know this. Status is okay, comma, data. All right, and backtick ends. So here, after the backticks, you want to say string and b. Okay, perfect. So like very basic tests, everything, like nothing fancy here. Want to check if like with the results that are coming from the post API, and for the specific post API, if there's no result for that. So everything should pass ideally. And I don't think I have this package, and let me try to save. I'm trying to save this file, and I'm also not so HTTP package should have been imported here. I don't know why it's not there. And ioutil package also should have been here, because I'm using these two, right? Should have gotten those, but that, I think now that's a bit of a problem. Let me try to run cohort ID again. Okay, something seems to be off. Okay, should have been run out here. Okay, my bad. Yes. So now it is able to get all the packages for me that I needed. The quickest way to check if this thing is okay, which I think is not okay, is I'll just clear everything out, and I will say go run main dot go. Okay, server is working, right? Before we test any APIs, what we'll do is we will run the test. So I think it's my cmd/API, right? Oh, it's inside handlers. Okay, and now I'm gonna go test. It's failing. Something is wrong here. Okay. Yeah, so the thing is, when I work just with the Golang, right? When I just work just with Golang, and then I build, and then I get those errors, I find it much easier to solve them rather than to solve the test files that I use, the errors that I get from the test files. Okay, that's just me, but we'll fix this. Before that, right? Before we fix this, I want to again run my server at the root directory, and I'll say go run main.go, and I want to test if this works or not. Okay, so I will get my browser here, and let's try to run this. And let's try to run posts. Let's do a health check. Sorry, health check. Yeah, so as you can see, all the APIs are working, but the tests are failing. So we'll just have to like tweak the test file a bit, and you can see all the data that we have in our data.json file is coming here. And we'll check the last API /post/3. Okay, perfect. That's great. So everything is working perfectly fine. Okay. Let's shift it here again. So yeah, we just need to make some changes in the test file, and then everything is good to go. All right, let me magnify this. All right, so now we'll come back to fixing our error. So do you know what this error is? Because I want to create this error because this is something that you'll see very, very commonly. Okay, you'll see this very, very commonly. And even the best developers, they will find this error in like many times, right? And the error is basically, it's a very stupid error, right? It's like really, really stupid, the reason for this error. And yeah, it's a very stupid error, very stupid issue, but almost everybody gets it, like me included, right? And that's that the server is not running. The server is not running. That's simply the thing. So what we'll do is we'll create one more terminal here. And we'll have to keep the server running. So let's say cd go dev go stuff. This project is go echo yt, right? So cd go echo yt will keep my server running. Okay, and now I'll go here in my handlers and I'll say go. Sorry, what's happening here? I'll just clear everything out here. Let's say go test. Okay, so the tests are actually passing. Everything works perfectly fine. Okay, tests passing. Right. So just want you to know that when you see that an error like that, which is like not very decipherable, I know Golang should tell you that your server is supposed to be running, and the error should be like very simple, something like that. But it's not, and it throws many people off, many people off. And that's the real thing that I want to show you today was basically that error. Okay, so I hope you learn a lot here, guys, because I take a lot of effort to build these videos for you, and I hope you learn a lot because the effort is not building projects because these projects are simple for me to build. That's not the effort here. The effort is thinking of the right project that will, like fill in the blanks for you guys. In the sense, as developers, we build up a lot of knowledge and we learn many things, but there are these small crevasses and these small caveats that we forget, and we don't fill in those crevices or whatever, basically those gaps that we don't end up filling, right? And caveats are basically those small things that you miss out. So you miss out those small things, and that's the Achilles heel, right? Achilles, however you want to pronounce it. That's the developer's Achilles heel. So the more time you spend developing stuff, the more you realize that's the details. Everything is in the details. So the smaller things, they catch your fancy, and you spend more time in the details. And when you're old like me, and you've been doing this for a long time. All right. So I hope you take away a lot from me. You take a lot of learning from me. That's what I want. That's my intention here, to teach you. Like an online mentor, right? It's all for free. So it's an online mentor. You take all this knowledge from my experiences, which are like very wide and varied experiences, right? I build on blockchains. I build with AI. I build with Rust, Golang, Ruby. I've been in the industry for a very, very long time, right? So thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and I will see you in the next video. I hope you've completed this project. I hope you also subscribe to this channel and please share it with your friends, because you don't get this kind of content online. I mean, to be honest, where do you see 44, 45 different Golang projects on a single YouTube channel, right? You won't find that. And similarly with Rust. So I hope you share that with your friends, and I'll see you in the next video.